Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of your day. I really appreciate it. There's more of you than ever. Thank you guys. I do. I'm grateful for you. I'm going to go live Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's the 26th. We can talk about what's going on with GYPSY Rose and Nick. Go to John. We could talk about some Scientology stuff. Talk about my time working in the jail, my relationship with Jen, who those people that have been following me for a while know that I met my ex-wife in jail and we had a relationship, not in jail, but I did meet her there, so that's a whole story. I was in the witness protection program for about a year or so when I was younger. So anything that you want to talk about, and if anything's out of bounds, I will tell you that it's out of bounds. The only thing I ask is I'm not going to be disrespectful of my ex, and I'm not going to get any family members involved. So, I'm happy to tell bits of my story that I'm comfortable sharing. In the meantime, let's talk about GYPSY Rose Blanchard. I'm finding out more and more stuff, and I'm starting to not change my theory because I still think 100% she was in on the grift. I think the last time she had surgery was 4 years before she unalived her mom. She was talking to Nick for 2 years, talking him into it, because there's evidence of him saying he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. Took her 2 years. There's some theories about the guy that she said that she ran away to be with, that he has some charges, drug charges. Can I say that? And, these are allegations, but yet there's some mugshots. So, and, how sick Dee Dee actually was, that she couldn't defend herself, and that GYPSY would have been easily able to, physically control her mom, because her mom had gout, GERD, diabetes, So there's a few things. Also, there's a theory now that I'm beginning to think. So the autopsy, from my understanding, says that Dee Dee was unalived on the 9th of the month, June 9th, 2015. Nick didn't get into town till the 10th, and his bus ticket shows that. Do you think Nick could all have been, unaliving an already unalived person? Just asking. Is that possible? Because, Nick has said over and over again, only 4 times, only 4 times. He also does say something about a guy named Dan. Now, Dan is the guy that GYPSY supposedly met, who was the 35, 36-year-old at that event where everybody was dressed as Star Wars characters. Same guy that I'm saying who has mugshots for having to deal with DRUGS. Same person that she supposedly was running away with, who lived in Arkansas, yet we still don't quite know how she was running away because so many different versions of the story. So we also know, and evidence has come out, that before that GYPSY knew how old she was before she knew Nick. Okay? I also want to put another theory in your head, guys. What do you think about GYPSY getting married so that she wouldn't have to live with her dad and her stepmom? Maybe her dad and her stepmom would keep her in line, be in her business, kind of help navigate her finally through life, be parents per se, if they themselves are good people. There's questions about certain things that have been brought to the attention, and I'm gonna show you the direction to go to see stuff like this. Not scandal, not conspiracy, but evidence from creators, content creators that I knew nothing about until I started looking more and more into it. You know, people that have actual receipts from people that know Gypsy's stepmom and know a little bit about Gypsy's dad. You know, they're not everybody that they're cracked up to be, but is it at all possible that Gypsy got herself into a marriage that was for her benefit? Is that totally impossible to believe? I think she could totally manipulate Ryan. I think that Ryan has already showed us his weakness. He's just willing to accept Gypsy any which way. And the minute that he honestly isn't, the minute that there's no longer anything for her to dangle in front of his face, watch. We're going to see if we even find this kid. Allegedly, because I don't think Gypsy's done. I don't think this is it for her. I don't think she just wants to go away and enjoy her life. Not as soon as she got out into the real world did she start yelling and screaming about who she was. So let's look at some videos so that we can question some stuff. And don't make fun of my hair.
That it's a situation where it's a sympathetic type of situation.
Okay.
And I mean, the reason why I say that is because in my past relationships, I've had 2 relationships since I've been incarcerated. And each one of my exes and even my husband is like, baby, if you would have asked me that question, if you would have said, hey, can you kill my mom to get me out of this situation? They would have said no.
She knew right away that I admitted straight out to the whole thing that I was not going to get involved with this no matter how much she tried to push me. It was going to have to be a darker side of me of some form that I have never had the opportunity to explore. I had one thought in my mind out of nowhere appear, basically saying, take her and run. That was the benevolent thought, take her and run. As if the kind of feeling that I was somehow going to get away with it if I ran away with her. As if somehow we were able to keep her mom at bay better than she was able to in the past when she ran away. However, the other thought came in my mind was the darker part of me was also in love with the darker part of her. I ended up listening to my darker side because I wanted to be with her, and I remember what she said, and I wanted to believe what she was saying, and unfortunately I should have listened to my other part of me, as ironic as I was trying to influence her to go with, but she never went with it. She never wanted to run away, so I couldn't get that to work.
Okay, no, we're not doing that.
Let's go to the police.
Let's go to the police. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get you out of this situation, but let's go to the authorities. All right, and we're gonna do this the right way. Nick did not say that.
As ironic as I was trying to influence her to go with, but she never went with it. She never wanted to run away, so I couldn't get that to work.
You know, he has these dark fantasies. He wanted to do it. It was a fantasy he lived out, and he's paying the consequences for that. So with that being said, you know, it's neither here nor there for, in my opinion, what I think of the situation. It's just, it is what it is.
That's it. I will say that that response, as you have just seen, is the response she always.
So guys, right there, you see the receipts that he just wanted to run away. But no. That's not what she wanted to do. Yet she says something different. She's always saying something different than what she actually did. Nick has always maintained the same thing. Gypsy has always said something different too. each time she talks about something that's very specific, the story changes. Nick's story has changed. Who would you
This is probably around the time that Dee Dee's own health started to deteriorate, and GYPSY was able to sneak around a lot easier. Her mother was sick. She was taking sleeping pills and sleeping more soundly more often, giving GYPSY more freedom. While Dee Dee was probably the epitome of a helicopter parent up until GYPSY was in her late teen years, her own health decline kept her from continuing this type of control. Again, that's just my opinion. Let's talk about Dan for a little bit, because I just brushed over him in the last video, but Dan is an important piece of this puzzle.
2011, there's an incident that goes down. I think she was caught with Dan before this at the convention, and I don't remember what the dates are on that. I'll have to go back and look. But in 2011 is when the whole thing goes down with, she goes and she gets her and she goes over, walks over 3 blocks and goes to the hospital and all that shit happens. She walked home, guys. She walked home. She had an ID. It's in the files. I've seen it. I've talked about people talking about it. She had an ID that said she was over 18 and one that said she wasn't. And Dee Dee claimed statutory, but they all knew it wasn't about statutory. It's because Dan was a drug person and he has many convictions. And guess what? Dan was married with kids.
In fact, he testified at Nick's trial for the defense. And this is what he had to say. He said that he kept in contact with GYPSY via video chat. He says that GYPSY told him her mother made her stay in a wheelchair and had unnecessary medical treatment. He says that their relationship developed from friendship to a sexual relationship. They would send explicit videos to each other. He discusses how they role played occasionally. He referred to GYPSY as being shy and timid. He says he developed a taste of power exchange role playing from her. He says she would send nude photos, dressed up in costumes, and used various fictitious names. Dan Glidewell says he was injured and that GYPSY visited him while he was in the hospital. She told him she wanted to go to Arkansas and restart her life.
Got what I have. You want to see it? Here it is. Let's start. Let me see. Let me open which one this one is. That's 2005, age 14. You want to see it? There it is. Here they are. I have them all. That's all the way to, let's see. This binder here holds 2005, 2006, 2007. This is, and 2008. This is from 2009 and 2010, folks. Here's some more. You want to see it? Right there. There it is. One more. 2011 to 2015. I want you to notice something that happens right around 2012, my friends. That's all there is anymore. Little tiny bits.
So guys, in another video, I had said that I thought that GYPSY could more or less, that GYPSY was now the perpetrator in the home and no longer she was the victim, but that Dee Dee, because of her health and everything, was probably the victim at this point. And I still believe that. Also, I had questioned when was the last medical procedure that happened to GYPSY, because one of the reasons that she said she wanted to leave or had to leave was because of surgery after surgery after surgery. You hear, after 2012. Let me tell you about this woman. Her name is Fancy. I forget her last name. I'm going to link her channel, because what she did do was she is a filmmaker, and she wanted to do like the documentary or docuseries about this when it happened. And so she became friendly with GYPSY's stepmom and said that she was going to just follow this where the truth was. She was going to follow the truth. Unfortunately, so much has unfolded that what she thought the truth was has changed over the course of time. So I highly recommend, because these people have spent so much time investigating this, years and years and years. I'm not even going to pretend. I get information from this channel, so I'm highly going to recommend them to you. If you are really into this and you want heavy, deep dives and not just points of view from people that might see things a different way, a different perspective, and a different point of view and such like that, the facts, this woman, I believe, has the facts. And there's a few channels I'm going to link onto here because I get a lot of information from them. And while they have all day and a team of people to do this, it's just me. And I try to get as much information as possible and then to tell you guys the story in case there's a lot of things that you want to watch during the day and just want recaps of what's going on and point of views of what's going on. So I highly recommend some of these channels. Again, I'm going to link them. But here's the things that I've shown you right here. Does that change your point of view at all about GYPSY? I'm not saying she wasn't a victim, but I'm saying at some point she was no longer the victim. And Dee Dee became the victim. And ultimately, Nick is the victim. And what do you see in the future? For Ryan, Anderson, who is now Gypsy's husband. What do you think's going on there? Guys, tell me in the comments, please. I'm doing a video on Nick and his dedication and love towards Gypsy. Just a different point of view. So that should be coming up soon. I'm working tonight. I didn't expect that. I just found out that I'm working tonight. And again, I'm going to go live on Monday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I thank you so much for your belief in me, the subscriptions, the community that you guys are building is amazing. I love to see you guys communicate in the chat with each other, helping each other out to understand things, to explain things. I love that. So kudos to you guys. Don't forget, guys, be better today than you were yesterday, but not half as good as you're going to be tomorrow. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Thanks.